everybody, it's me, Bryson Booker, and today I'm going to be reviewing absolutely nothing. There's nothing on my table. There's nothing that I'm reviewing today. You might as well cut off this video. Okay, I'm going to be reviewing this wireless microphone system. It's another pro audio review just for you, and I'm going to be reviewing this wireless microphone system from no brand. Okay, I think the brand is GTD Audio. So the story about these wireless microphones is they're a set of 4 wireless microphones and a receiver. And I originally got these guys off of eBay for $100, and I figured, you know, $100 for wireless microphones, each with separate outputs, is what I needed when I do my live sound gigs. They're not the best microphones, but they will get you through a couple of gigs. Or depending how you treat them and how you use them, they'll get you probably through a whole bunch of gigs. It really depends on how you treat these guys. But I'm going to basically open the box for you, let you see what's inside, and then give you my review of the microphone system. So stick around. So guys, as of now, I don't have a separate case for this wireless microphone system, so I kind of have no choice but to keep them in their original box. And basically, they only go in the box one way, and that's the way that it came in the box when I first bought it. So, as soon as you open the box, you'll get the 4-channel receiver. Let's take that out. And then you will receive the 4 microphones. Now, I made some modifications to these microphones, so you'll see I have tape on each one to identify each microphone, as well as a pop filter. The tape and the pop filter do not come with the microphones. I just want to make that clear. You'll have to buy that yourself, and you can easily get, you know, colored tape at Menards, and you can easily find pop filters for $5 on Amazon. And that's all I did. I just made a few modifications to them, and I'll tell you why I did that. Obviously, the colored tape is to identify them, but I'll tell you why I put the pop filters on as we get into the review. But this is literally all it comes with, as well as their own little rings, identification rings that I think they were blue and orange. So there was little rings that you could put right on the head of the microphone, just basically to do the same thing that the color tape is doing, just to identify which microphone is which. I didn't really need them, so I threw them away. So that they're the only things that aren't in this box. But you get a cheap 1/4-inch cable. On the back of that receiver, there's a mixed output. So all 4 microphones will be sent to this one output, and then you can plug this into your mixer, or preferably just like a PA speaker if you're using this system for, I don't know, just simple vocal reinforcement. Instead of running each individual microphone output, you could just have all 4 microphones run off of one mix output. Wouldn't recommend doing that if you're doing some serious live sound, which is what I'm doing. I would recommend running each output for each microphone separately. But again, for small stuff, you know, for like a, I don't know, birthday party, whatever, they need a microphone, pop it in the back of there, go into your PA speaker, and then you're done. So they included that for you. You have this wall wart power supply, so you get that. Now, when you originally get this wireless microphone system, it does come with batteries. But these are not the original batteries that came with it. Obviously, they died, threw them out, and they really weren't that good of batteries anyway. They really weren't good batteries. So now I use Energizer rechargeable batteries. But anyway, when you originally get this unit, there'll be some batteries here to get you started right in that section. And obviously, you have the microphones themselves. Now, the microphone feels decent. It is cheap looking because the microphones are cheap. They're only like $100 for 4 of them. So you're not going to be expecting top of the line build quality from them, because you're just not going to get it. So this microphone has a plastic body, and I'll have to take off the pop filter to show you the microphone head itself. So here's the microphone head, and yes, it does look like, the one and only Shure SM58. Does it sound like an SM58? Heck no. Does the grill feel strong like an SM58? Surprisingly, yes. If you drop this thing, which I don't recommend you doing, you'll probably damage pretty much all of the microphone except this grill. It's actually a pretty durable metal grill, and can easily be replaced with basically an SM58 grill head. If you did dent this one up, you could easily replace it. But again, the only sturdy thing about this microphone is the grill. The whole body is plastic, and the internal components can easily be damaged if you drop this thing. So please be careful with it. I would not recommend dropping it on a floor such as this. Maybe it'll survive if it drops on a carpet, but God, not anything like this, or else your microphones will not work ever again. So those of you who are in punk bands, I would not recommend you use these wireless microphones, because if you get destructive with them, they will not last nearly as long. Alright, so I'll take off the grill here so you can see the capsule, which isn't too much anything spectacular here. So here's the capsule. Again, not an SM58 capsule. Doesn't sound like an SM58. Doesn't even try to sound like an SM58. In fact, this is a very sterile capsule. And what I mean by sterile is these microphones will sound great up until a point, but when you start yelling and when you start screaming in them, again, a nod to the punk bands, these mics are not for you. If you start yelling and screaming in it, they will distort. And it's not because of the receiver, it's not even the transmitter. It's just the microphone capsule sucks. And it just cannot take that type of, handling of the microphone, especially when you cup the microphone like some rappers and, some gospel artists even do. They'll cup the microphone and stuff it in their mouth, and you'll get all this distortion from it, even with the gain on the receiver like down, almost like I have to run them almost like this, literally like this on the knobs. It's just the transmitter, the capsule itself just can't handle it. It's not your console, it's not the transmit, it's not the receiver, it's just the microphone capsule. It sucks. So it will distort at high SPLs. But that's why I have this pop filter. I was doing an experiment with them, and I'm like, how can I get the most volume out of these without distortion? The secret is buy pop filters. Normally these pop filters are only used for, guarding microphones outside, so you won't get any wind or, anything basically interfering with the sound of the microphone. That's what they're originally for. But these pop filters can actually limit some of the volume that these microphones get. And what I mean by that is, again, if you put this microphone up to your mouth and you talk in a normal voice, because of the bad proximity effect, which is basically the increase in bass of the microphone, this microphone has a bad proximity effect. And so when you talk in the microphone up to your mouth, it'll sound all boomy and stuff. And when you raise your voice, it'll get distorted. Well, this pop filter, if you put it on, it'll kind of limit some of that excess low frequency energy. And it'll cause, your words to be a lot clearer without the capsule immediately distorting. So the only time this capsule will distort now is if somebody super duper loud says something super duper loud. It's just, which is kind of what we want. You want the most volume, you want the most gain before, you get distortion. You get distortion or clipping. And so that's what this pop filter does. And ever since I got these pop filters, I haven't had any problems with this wireless microphone. And it sounds pretty decent with the pop filter. But if you don't have pop filters, they may not sound as good at high volumes. I'm just letting you know that right now. So that's a look at the microphone. Basically, one microphone looks the same as the other three, just with a different colored tape on there. And I'll let you look at the receiver. Okay guys, so this is the wireless microphone receiver that comes with the 4 packs of wireless microphones from GTD Audio. Supposedly, this system is from GTD Audio, which that's what it said on eBay. But it looks like there's another manufacturer on here who I can't even recognize. But on the receiver, it says the Rdiggs Corporation. Rdiggs Professional Audio. Again, I don't know if that used to be GTD Audio. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe they used to be owned by GTD. Maybe it was GTD before they became GTD Audio. I don't really know. But that was kind of weird. And so just keep that in mind when you pick this wireless microphone system up. But you have 4 individual LED screens for the microphone. Well, they're not LED, but they're just backlit screens for the microphone. You know, there's actually not anything too spectacular about these screens. It's supposed to tell you information about the microphone, but all these screens show you about the microphone is what frequency it is on the UHF spectrum. This is a UHF system, just to let you know, not VHF, but it's UHF. Slightly better than VHF, but not by much. So just to let you know, this is a UHF system, and all these screens display is the UHF frequency of each microphone. That's it. And then you have a RF light, which basically blinks when the microphone is receiving signal, as well as a red AF light to let you know that the microphone is on the receiver, as well as the volume knob, which you have to run, again, almost all the way down for them to sound pretty darn decent. Take a look on the back. Oh, you do get rack ears, so you can mount this on a rack, but make sure whatever rack you mount this unit in, it basically has an open back, because they put the antennas right on the back of the unit, instead of most manufacturers who put the antennas on the front of the unit. So if you do put this in a rack, you better make sure that that rack has an open back so these antennas can extend all the way out. And most of them don't have a back this wide, so putting it in a rack is kind of useless anyway. But again, if you want to, make sure that that rack has a back big enough to let these antennas extend all the way up. The main reason why I bought this microphone system was, number 1, it came with 4 wireless microphones. Number 2, it has separate outputs for each microphone. A lot of wireless systems in this price range normally give you one mixed output for all 4 microphones, which again, in a live sound situation, is not really cool, because in a sense you can't really tell who's contributing the most to the mix and who's contributing the less to the mix. You would have to make those decisions based on the volume knobs on the front, which are slightly inaccurate, because, you know, it's not that accurate. I rather have control of the overall sound on the board. And so this allows you to have individual outputs for each microphone. So again, this is why they're labeled. So the tape again labels each microphone. So yellow goes with the yellow mic, white goes with the white mic, red goes with the red mic, and blue goes with the blue mic. All outputs are labeled. And so you can run individual XLR cables from this unit to your console and have individual EQ as well as basically volume control over each microphone instead of one output, which gives you control over all 4 microphones. It's just, you know, it's much better to run each microphone individually, because you have control over each mic's EQ. Each singer has a different EQ. Each singer has a different volume, and it's so much better to run each microphone with each separate output instead of all 4 on one. But that's really it. And so I'm going to attempt to give you guys a sound test of this. Hopefully it'll go over pretty well. Okay guys, I have the microphone on and I'm talking in it right now. As you can see right on the LCD screen, the microphone I have is yellow and it is active. Now, the problem with doing this test in the basement is I'm surrounded by a lot of Wi-Fi frequencies and different things like that. And so the audio may sound a bit crummy
and I'm sorry about that because of all the frequency intervention, but it's not really, and there's all this metal all around. So that's why the sound is kind of screwed up a bit, because it's like the receiver is really interfering with a lot of other frequencies around the area, as well as trying to battle its own frequency with this metal everywhere. And so that's what's going on. I had to do a little EQ to the microphone to get it to sound a bit more articulate, but I will set the EQ flat here on my Mackie Mix 5. And I will say this about these microphones: the better EQ that you have on your console, the better they will sound. So I have a semi-parametric EQ on my Soundcraft Signature, and I can get them to sound a bit better than they do now. There's a lot of trouble in the low mids and the bass region, again because of this proximity effect. But as you can hear, this pop filter is limiting some of that extra bass from distorting the sound. So I'll EQ it again. I'll cut some of this bass and boost a tad bit of highs to get some articulation out here. And this is what the mic sounds EQ'd. Again, it's not a bad microphone, but the main issue with it is, you're getting a lot of hiss, again, because you have to have, like, literally a clean area to use these, where there's not a whole bunch of frequencies that are going to be eating it up. As well as the quality of the microphone is just decent. So overall, it's a great deal for the price, but obviously if you want a better sound, if you want better resistance against other frequencies and other areas, there's always better wireless microphones. But for the price, you get 4 of these, 4 wireless transmitters, and once you make those little modifications, like a pop filter on each one, they'll do you pretty good for most sound events. And so they're decent. They're not awesome, but they're decent and they'll do. And so they're pretty decent mics. From GTD Audio or Rdiggs Audio or wherever they came from. They came from China, to just let you know that much. They're decent microphones. So check them out.